zone, the homeowner's best friend.
How long does it take you to convert a diving pool to a play pool? And how long does it take you to install a play pool if there's no pool there at all?
All right.
Okay, so you're talking about a remodeled diving pool to a play pool. 90% of the time when people are doing that, they're also doing their decking, their waterline tile, upgrading their equipment, their lighting, so on and so forth. A straight conversion, couple weeks worth of work. To do a complete remodel, 4 to 6 weeks of work. To build a pool in an area that never had a pool before, potentially 4 to 6 weeks. And I know it's amazing.
If we're going to take that diving pool shell, and let's say we're going to basically keep, but you don't keep the outside footprint of that pool very often, do you?
If we're going to convert it, yes, we actually do, Rosie.
Okay.
We actually keep the shell. We're actually just bringing up the floor and reinforcing it.
Okay.
So the outside walls will stay in play.
Is that a solid slush grout pour, or you're backfill with AB and then rebar and regrouting, gunite?
Right. So it's basically two pools in one. So what we're going to do is we're going to break out the floor. We're going to put a hole in it at the bottom so it doesn't retain water. We're going to reinforce it with steel. We're going to pin it with epoxy. We're going to have compaction mix in there. We're going to bring it up and shoot it with 3,000 psi concrete. So I said that real quick, but you're basically building a pool inside of a pool is what you're doing in essence.
Okay, so give those time frames one more time for Jay. Converting a diving pool, diving pool into a play pool. And how would you define a play pool?
A play pool is going to be anything that you can stand up in.
3-5-3?
3-5-4 is typically what it is, or 3-5-3 exactly. A diving pool is going to be something that you're going to dive in. It's going to be 8 feet or deeper. And to go from one to the other, you're usually talking about a 4 to 6 week process.
Okay.
Start to finish.
All right, 4 to 6. How about permitting? Are y'all having the same dilemmas with permitting that we're having in kitchen and bathroom remodeling?
You know, I'm going to say yes, Rosie. After the pandemic, permitting has just gotten just atrocious. I mean, there's particular cities. I'm not going to name any particular cities in general.
I will.
But there are some cities that are a whole lot worse than others. But yes, absolutely. And I think they took down their staff. Maybe the staff isn't what it was prior to the pandemic. I'm not sure. I'm not in permitting. But I do know permits are taking 2, 3, 4 times longer. I remember the good old days when you could walk a permit in. You remember that?
Oh, yes, I do.
Same day.
Yeah.
Same day. We're not seeing that anymore. Your average permit right now is taking about a month to 2 months just to get a permit released from the cities.
And I wanted Jay to hear that because you were talking about construction time, but you've got the design and the permitting side before you can even bring the first backhoe on site or skid steer.
Yes, sir. And that's why when there is permitting involved, we do not even start the time clock until after we receive an approval to build or construct.
If I called you for an appointment on Wednesday,
yes,
and I was a quick decision maker, could I have a pool by August?
Absolutely.
I could?
Yes, sir.
Sure. What number would I call to do that?
480-830-9209. You give us a call, we will take good care of you.
All right.
Do you always need a permit? Something you said made me wonder that. In what case would you not need one, I guess?
You wouldn't need a permit on a remodel. If it's a remodel, you're not going to be required to pull a permit. But anytime you're making the pool bigger, you're making the pool smaller, anything that's going to require structure on that pool would require a permit per most city codes and definitely state code.
I think a lot of people need to hear that if you're giving the pool up and evacuating and abandoning it, that requires a permit.
100%, Rosie. I can't tell you how many times people do not pull permits on pools when you're abandoning them. You have to pull a permit to abandon them. It has to get inspected.
It does.
It does, yes.
And I think that's a county permit, isn't it? That's a county health department?
That's a city. Local cities have their own permitting process. Yes, sir.
All right. So we've talked about the Baja bench. We've talked about the play pool area. We've talked about the timing of it. What are some of the other trends you're seeing? I mean, pool automation is certainly a big part of it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of government deciding I have to do something, but forcing everybody into the high performance pumps, that most people are pretty grateful when they finally do that.
Yeah, you're talking about the variable speed pumps that everybody's putting in now.
Mandated to put
right,
yeah.
Right. Variable speed pump. We've got to put in a variable speed pump so their flow rates can go from all the way from 600 RPMs all the way to 3,450 RPMs average flow rates on those. But the good thing about the variable speed pumps is they really, really are made to tie into automation.
Yeah.
They got COM cords, you tie them into the automation, and those RPMs, the flow rates of those pumps can be now controlled with the touch of a button on your phone.
I like the fact the money I saved. I mean, they are 5 or 6 times more efficient than the old single speed pumps. But the reason I would never ever go back is because they're so quiet.
They are quiet. They're super quiet. These pumps are. They're so quiet. You can actually put them by, most pool equipment is by a bedroom or it's by a living room. You don't hear them anymore because you can actually tone them down or operate them in a time when you're not going to hear them.
You got to look for movement of the vacuum system or movement on the surface of the water, even to know it's running.
That's right. In most cases, 100%. Yes, sir.
Cleaning systems.
Okay.
Mine's my wife.
Okay. That works, I guess.
Does that work? Okay. I've perceived you're not a really big fan of the all-pool in-floor system.
I'm just not. I come from a pool remodeling background. Okay, not a pool building background. Okay. Even though I can build pools, because guess what? We've torn them apart for years. I can build a pool because I've torn it apart. I know what its genetic makeup is. But I can tell you this: they have gotten a lot better. They have advanced further as they've gotten more technology, so on and so forth. But my perfect cleaning system is going to be the in-floor heads. Notice I didn't call them in-floor cleaning system.
Okay.
In-floor heads, because all they are is return. They return and move the water around.
Okay.
The in-floor heads on steps and benches,
okay,
and put a vacuum system on the floor. To me, that is the best cleaning system for a pool. Now, if you have a big pool, it's very intricate, lots of coves, lots of hard-to-reach places, by all means, an in-floor system is going to be your best bet. But for a lot of pools, a vacuum can do just as well, if not way better, and not even need an in-floor system.
An automatic vacuum?
It's got a suction line. It's got a dedicated suction line on the side port of the wall, and you just plug that vacuum in, and that vacuum goes around and just sucks up the debris. We talked about it the other day, Rosie.
Yes.
And I said, how would you clean your living room? Would you clean your living room with a leaf blower, or would you clean it with a vacuum? Okay, and I know we laugh because we know the obvious answer.
You gave me a great idea.
but there's so much truth to that. That vacuum will pick up the debris, send it directly to the filtration system, whereas an in-floor system is going to
Stir it up
in hopes it gets to the skimmer or the main drain.
Hopefully physics and law of gravity kind of eventually moves that dirt particle down to the deepest part of the pool where the suction vacuum is, and picks it up. But it has to be circulated all through the pool first to get it down there.
Yeah, and it has to be brushed. You still have to put in the work. You still have to brush that pool because that in-floor is not going to get 100% of that dirt where it needs to be gotten to.
I can't wait to get home and do the leaf blower in the living room.
You haven't seen Caddyshack, have
Rosie on the house, every Arizona home.